Hello everyone, Venris here, and today I want to welcome you in a summary video of 2022. Very special year, tons of things happened this year. Some good, some bad, some good in RL, some bad in RL, some good in SFO, some bad in SFO. Whoa, it was a tough year, I have to be honest, and I wanted to make like a summary video of it because there are tons of things that had like a hatched at the beginning of the year, and they are now getting into fruition at the end of this year. So yeah, I will be talking about every month what are the major news for SFO, also some other stuff, because Steam made a wonderful summary of my games, and I think it will be quite interesting to see how little I'll play games because of the modding and other stuff. Yeah, and I will be also talking about my own game standalone project that is getting more and more close to being a public soon. So yeah, stay tuned and let's hope to the video. January is the first month of the year, no shit, and January started with some fixes, a small update to SFO2, because last year, the 2021, we released the Last Kiss update. So the update that was the biggest and the last update for SFO2. We mostly revamped Vampire Counter, and we decided that this is like the last update and we're not touching Total War Warhammer 2 at all with any modding. And until this day, like after almost a year after, we keep to that word. SFO2 is finished and we are very proud of it as a team, but many things should change there. There were some mistakes made, but I will be talking about those in the next month, because we went through some philosophy changes with this year. Also, January had the last winners of contest that we had to win the IRL Chaos God symbols. There was a very nice video that we made. You can see in it my dad and a group of friends. We made the Chaos God symbol out of plywood, and the SFO patrons were able to win them, along with some custom painted Games Workshop Warhammer minis. Yeah, I'm very proud of this contest, and many people sent their photos that they get the rewards, and they're very happy also. So yeah, as I said. And the last thing with January, we had a wish list video for Warhammer 3 Morning, and wow, that aged not bad, not good. That aged very bad, because the biggest thing that I wanted there is a way of making more easier way to make some UI things for custom resources. Nothing of those was added to Warhammer 3, and also auto-resolve modding, and again, nothing of that is in actual modding right now. So yeah, that video aged poorly, as I said, but this is like an ending note of the month. We are getting to the month of February, so the release of Warhammer 3. And first thing, we had a very big video about how the changes of economy we want to have in Warhammer 3, SFO3, that was not in SFO2. So in SFO2, we were basing the economy of Warhammer 2 game. So the problem in Warhammer 2 game is that after like 50 turns, you don't have any problems with money. You are shitting with them. So when SFO2, we made this something that we're making that every bigger you are, bigger the penalties are getting for the cost, recruitment, and so on. So we were not happy with that, to be honest. But at the point of making SFO2, it was no way back, because the game was way too big to rewind and get all the technology changes, things like that back. Was way too hard. So we decided that with Warhammer 3 modding, we will be doing that. We will be doing the thing that's squishing all the numbers, so the getting to this critical point when you have way too much money will be way more farther away. And yeah, that was the plan for Warhammer 3 SFO modding. How it ended, you should know right now. Also, we released our own site. SFOmod.com, It have all the latest news, it has the change logs, patrons list, very simple site, but if you want something that is not on Steam, Twitter or anything, you can go there and you have everything, like links to the Discord and so on. Okay, so Warhammer 3 was released also in this month, as I was saying, and it got a big backlash, let's face it. After the honey period ended, it was around a week or two, tons of very good reviews were released, and one of those reviews was from Mandalore Gaming, a personal patron of SFO for many years, and we are in very good touch, and I think he made one of the best reviews for Warhammer 3, because he honestly said that the game is in a poor state and you should not buy it. And I totally agree with him. The game was rushed. The release of Warhammer 3 was not as bad as Warhammer 2 release, because many of you may not remember, but Warhammer 2 release was, wow, very bad release. Way worse than Warhammer 3. The problem was that the Warhammer 3, not the technical state was as problematic as Warhammer 2 one. The Warhammer 3 content was very bad. Like the Realms of Chaos campaign is just plain bad. Yeah, it's very bad design. To this day, it's very bad campaign. As I was playing it, I really felt bored. I even recorded the stream of it. Good example here is that I was still getting back after 4-5 years of release of Warhammer 2 to the Vortex campaign. And I will never get back to the Realms of Chaos campaign. I fucking hate it. I can say it out loud. Yeah, it's just terrible. Yeah, what's next on the list? Banner carriers were added. Yeah, that aged poorly also. Banner carriers were added to SFO2 as a last minor addition. So all factions has banner carriers. For all of you that don't know, the banner carriers are broken in Warhammer 3. The whole system was removed from the tables by CA and it's not working to this day. If you're fighting a faction that have banners and you get no casualties in your army, then the captives calculation gets crazy and you can get like 10 million gold for it and things like that. So yeah, it's totally bork right now. Sadly. At the end of the February, we make a very nice spoiler talk with the Great Book of Grudges and in our podcast, and we were talking about the story of Warhammer 3, how we can go further, because without any spoilers, the Warhammer 3 is a prequel to Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 1 stories, and sadly, after 1 year, CA did nothing with the story. Like totally nothing, especially in this Champions of Chaos DLC. That's like totally generic story. I don't even remember what was it about. But like the story itself of Warhammer 3 is very good, but it has massive pacing problems. In the grand summary, like the prologue is fantastic. Prologue had wonderful story. But when you're starting the main campaign, you get it's spoiled. Like it's fully spoiled for you. The prologue that you can finish in 2 hours, it's fully spoiled when you're starting main campaign. Like it doesn't make any sense, and it's just plain bad. It's just plain bad. Yeah, but let's go further because it will take a while. March is the time when I released my first ever review of a game. It was a review of the Warhammer 3, and at the time I also reviewed it on Steam. It was a negative review, and I'm still holding to this after all the updates. Immortal Empires, Warhammer 3 is still in a very poor state, and yeah, my review was that it was negative. Mostly negative. If I would rank the game, I would give it like 6 or 5. At the time, now it's maybe 7, something like that. But it's in a poor state still, I think. Whew. April. Yeah, we're going to a bit more light news right now. In April, we made a first roadmap of the SFO, and the Art of War version is released. The Art of War was an update that was covering all the battle changes only. with vanilla factions and also vanilla factions, all the factions, but only the battle changes, abilities, UI changes, some fixes here and there, quality of life changes, tons of stuff. We also had a roadmap, and that also aged poorly because of the Immortal Empires that I will be talking later on. And also, big news, SFO2 reaches 400,000 subscribers. And its most subbed overhaul mode in Total War history. Overall mod was subbed by over 600,000 individual members. So yeah, big achievement. 5 years of work, really, 5 years of modding, 5 years of crunching, tons of work, tons of people that help with it. But yeah, SFO2 is in the history of Total War of being the most subbed overhaul mode ever created. Yeah. And we are moving to May, and my nose isn't talking. We are moving to May. Land of Wealth. Land of Wealth is the first update that will be covering campaign in SFO2. Free. And we were all only able to play Warhammer 3 factions and in the realms of chaos. But we released it in June. Very proud of this update. Also, the work is still going and going and going and going. Tons of fixes in July. So July was mostly about fixes, updated tons of modding, and to be honest, we didn't have a lot of work in terms of modding itself, adding new content. Why? Because we still didn't have any information about Immortal Empires, and in terms of tables, there are tons of changes, like massive tons of changes that Warhammer 3 factions were working on different systems. Like, for example, making any buildings effects, porting them from Warhammer 2 to Warhammer 3 didn't have any sense back then. Why? Because Warhammer 3 was using different system for those buildings, similar with some other technologies, things like that, and that proved to be right to not mod back then, like with full content, because wow, all of this would be go to the trash bin. So July is a different month a bit, because this is the month when my gaming company started to work on our standalone game. With a pack of people, we started to make our own standalone game, and the process of making this game is, of course, still in the work, still in the full swing. So at this moment, I'm getting like a full-time job, second full-time job, close to the modding. Yeah. In August, we have first information about Immortal Empires and SFO3. We are also starting to release some the teasers of my game to patrons. Yeah, and so also in August we also have a release of Immortal Empires, and our estimations were right. Tons of changes, entire different system, changes to technologies, changes to the buildings, everything. But we were prepared for it, let's call it, because as we were making SFO3 from the ground, we were able to change some table standardization, some system, so adding the content to be working again with Immortal Empires was very fast, very, very fast. And that's why in September we released the battles beta for Immortal Empires with all the factions, covering all the factions with new abilities, stuff, and so on. Very proud of it. Also in SFO2 is getting a 5th anniversary, 5 years of modding, yeah, 5 years of modding of SFO2. Wow. And at the moment of this release, we had the battles beta. There was a tons of concern that we should have all the Immortal Empires stuff from SFO2 already covered in SFO3, because game was released on February, but as I was saying, we were not able to touch anything besides Warhammer 3 vanilla factions. So the real work started in September. At that time, I'm working on 2 full-time work, so modding half a day, and half a day I'm making my own game with the team. And yeah, the crunch is starting, to be honest. So this will be also the topic of this video. Wow, we had incredible crunch this year. Like, wow, you can look on my face. I'm tired as fuck. Yeah, the crunch is real. But let's get to the next month. So we have October, and October we are talking about the philosophy of the changes. So something that I was talking about the whole video. From SFO2 to SFO3, there's like a giant gap, and when porting stuff from SFO2 to SFO3, we can just copy the tables, paste it in Warhammer 3, and that's it. It will be working in many cases, thanks to the effort of the team and all the standardization that we made. But we are making SFO2 for 5 years. And people were expecting that we'll port those 5 years in about a week or month or something like that, and we are not. Especially that we know that we made tons of mistakes in terms of balance, adding too much content, bloating the content, and we need to revisit all of it. And that's why we were adding piece by piece, building by building. Many things were removed. I would say that more content was removed than added in terms of porting stuff from our SFO2, and I'm proud of it because we were able to avoid the bloat. And as in December there will be a release of campaign beta for almost a month. It's released right now in the moment of recording the video, and the feedback is very good. That we really the changes that we wanted to do, so simplifications, removal of bloat, really pay off, and the game is just better that way. So yeah, that was the video that will be saying what will be released in December. In November, the release was planned for the old world beta, but we decided to cover more factions in the beta, so the update was moved to December from November. First it was meant to be in November, but then we decided to move it to December because we wanted Woodles and Skaven also to be in an update. And in December everything is released. Very happy. This is the state where we are right now in SFO, and we also at the December we announced that the full release will be January 2023, and nothing looks that it will change because most of the factions are now being done. Only the factions that are not done right now at the moment of recording this video are High Elves and Dark Elves, and we are still working on them, but the pace is very good. They should be up soon, and everything and SFO 3 version 1.0 will be released in January. No specific date just yet, but the January release date is not in danger at the moment of the recording this video, but everything can change as always. Whew. So we went through the whole year, tons of stuff were happening, and in a big summary, tons of modding, making own game, total crunch. I won't be talking about the IRL situation because oh my, I have to say that this year, in terms of being a parent, was the hardest year in my life. IRL, yeah, it's having little kids, and both of them, it's hard as fuck. That can I say, but it's also very rewarding, if you know what I mean, if you have kids. So yeah, the IRL stuff also was a bit hard, I have to say. And also we are getting to the future of SFO in 2023, the future of Venris, of the community, everything. That is, January and February will be a massive months. Why? Because we will be revealing the game, our standalone game, where we are going with it, what are the plans for the future, and also the release of SFO 3 1.0. But all of this is also linking to the creative assembly here, because I think that the Warhammer 3 is in dire need of help. And I'm afraid that the game will be abandoned, to be honest. I don't think that the game will get as much content as Warhammer 2 had. actual state of the game is poor. It's not in the state that it should be released. So for me, it had tons of potential, but something that didn't click there. Something really did not click there, and I'm afraid that it can really be a backlash on the whole community that can be visible right now. And I hope that my biggest hope for 2023 is that Warhammer 3 will get more love from the developers, love that the game deserves, at least amount of that Warhammer 2 had. Maybe not a lot of DLCs, but even the updates. I think the updates are more in the DLCs for sure, because as the Champion of Chaos War was a good DLC, it should never be a DLC, in my opinion. It should be a base game thing, or at least a reward for withstanding with this game on its release state. Yeah. But enough about about that. I think that this was a very hard year, very long year, but I hope that Warhammer 3 will be Warhammer 3 2023 will be a bit more slow for me. I really hope that this year will be a bit slower for me. As you can see, wow, I'm talking for 20 minutes. I'm tired from talking even. And yeah, I really want to say thank you for all of those that helped with feedback, with donations, with Patreon support, with criticisms also, because we had those also, and I always read all the comments. As long as you are not using the strong language, the comment will be staying on Steam. So remember, if you are swearing on Steam, the comment will be removed. This is like my only rule. And yeah, as I say, very, very tough year. And as the last part, I can tell you how it was looking for not an parentship, but like normal gaming stuff. I think it was the least year that I ever played any game. I played the most, of course, of Warhammer 3, but it was like part of gaming, part of modding, so mostly. And the game I had most playing time besides that was an Elden Ring, and I can tell you, I've made like 100 years in Elden Ring, and that's it. And I didn't play more games. I played Spider-Man, new one, got it from wife, and played like 20 hours, something like that, of it. Last month I started to play Dying Light 2, and I got like again 20 hours in it. Max, I'm playing it like 1 hour every second day. Don't have more time for it, but yeah, I'm missing playing games, you know. I would like to play some games. But someone has to mod, someone has to make work on the game. But I'm uber happy that we are on the finishing line with SFO 3, because I also want to sit down and play some Warhammer 3 with the factions that I like, that have at least the amount of content and the power level of other factions in the vanilla. So yeah, again, thanks everyone for the support. I hope that this year was great for you, and that the coming year it will be even better, because the times are very uncertain, let's call it. There's like a Polish joke that I wish you live in interesting times, and we are living in a very interesting times. But I hope that everything ends well in 2023, and we'll be seeing each other in a few weeks, when I will be starting a series of videos about changes that you can expect in SFO3 1.0 release that is to be estimated for January. So yeah, enough of my blubbering. Have a wonderful New Year's Eve, and peace out.